Okay, so I'm going to show you how to create this spine so that we can copy and paste it and turn it into our snowflake. So the first thing I want to do is start a new design, and in my Stitch Artist I'm going to choose my input with points because I'm just going to draw a straight line. I'm just going to start with that one that goes right down the center. So that's click 1, click 2, right click to end. So this is my center spine line. So I'm just going to use that as, let me make it a little longer. That's just my guide. I'm going to have the V's going on top of it. So I'm going to click on my tool here, and I'm going to make a click once, go to the center, and go up, right click to end. See how I have a V here? Now I'm going to make another one going right below it. So I'm going to, again, click my draw with points, click, 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 right click to end, and one more time, like a little one in here. Boom, 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 right click to end. So I have this drawn. Now, the way I'm going to copy, paste, and rotate. So I want it all to start and stop at the very end of here. So based upon the way I have watched other designs stitch out, I know that I'm going to want these V's to stitch first. So let me select this first one. I'm going to turn it into a satin border. Second one, it's going to be a satin border. Third one, it's going to be a satin border. Let's zoom in so we can actually look at this a little better. Now we see our jump stitches. Also, I noticed that I have some of my points are rounded and some are straight, and that's because my satin is remembering the last thing I used. Go over my satin, change them both to be rounded. So now it's rounded here and rounded here. I'm just going to do that for each of them. Oops, not that one. Rounded, rounded. Okay, so now I have my rounded points. Now if you notice, it's jumping from this point, this red line. When I select it, that's because it's going to start here and stop here. So I want it to start in the center and end in this, whoopsie, end in the center. So I just need to move my starts and stops. Start in center, end in the center. If you notice, my jumps are changing to be right in the center of the line. Okay, so they're all up and down here, so they're not going across, they're not going to have to be cut. So when I expand my object tree, if this is the first one that's going to stitch, the first thing I need to do is get to this point. So here's my line, and that's going to be, that's how I'm going to need to get to this point here. So if I go and take this and drag it down to this point, and I change that to a running stitch, that is going to start at the bottom and stop at the top. This is how it's going to stitch. It's going to start stitching at this point. It's going to stop here. Then the next thing it stitches is this section here. Now it's going to want to jump to this next one. So while this is selected, I'm going to click Draw with Points. I'm going to go and click, click, right click to end, change it to a running stitch. Make sure that this says to be a single stitch. Ooh, is this set to be a single? Nope, got to change it to be a single stitch. So now I don't have a red line here. From this point, it's going to finish stitching this. So I'm going to go and click Draw with Points, click, click, right click to end, running stitch, and now it finishes this one. So now I need to put my stem up the center. So I'm going to click Draw with Points again, click, and we'll make it a little bit taller, click, right click to end, turn that to be a satin, and I don't want to start at the top, I want it to stop at the bottom, and I want it to start right at this point. So now when I run my Sew Simulator, the big thing is changing your starts and stops. When I run my Sew Simulator, it's going to start stitching from the bottom, go up and do my spine, then go travel down, do the next one, travel, travel. Now it's going to do the top part, and it all travels nicely. So I have one spine done. Now at this point, I can zoom out a bit. If I have Essentials or just have Stitch Artist, If I have this selected, I can hit copy paste. I can rotate it. If I'm going to do 7 of them, I need to rotate this by 360 degrees in a circle divided by 7 is 52. So I need to rotate this 52 degrees. Hit enter. And I would move that here. And I would do that all the way around. Each one's going to be 50 degrees from the other one. So 50, and continue across. But because I have Enthusiast also installed, I'm going to select this and I'm going to go to my utility. I'm going to do carousel. I want 7 of them. I'm going to want about 95 spacing. And I just know that because I'm playing with the numbers to get the one that I want, to see what it kind of looks like. Oh, that's, see, that's a big hole in the center. So we're going to go smaller than that. So we're going to go maybe 80. And that leaves a little bit of a circle in there. So I'm going to click OK. And zoom out just a little bit. Now we see I have all of my designs or all of my branches there. If I run my Sew Simulator here, they all are starting from the center. There's no jumps. You see how they go one right next to each other. But one thing is that these are all separate designs. So I'm going to go back to create mode and select all of these. Go to create, design, combine designs so that it's one snowflake. This means I can just select it and I can just move it all on its own. Okay, now I want to put a circle in the center that kind of connects this. So I need to zoom back in so I can see what I'm working on. And when I expand this and go to my very last object, that's the satin border of this one, and that's where it's going to stop. So I'm going to choose draw with points. And I'm going to go and just click on each one of these. And that's just creating a sort of a circle. When I get to this point, I can just hit close and I'm going to hit my satin border. And here's my snowflake that is all created, that has a nice satin finish on it, that has no jump stitches.